made by the professor, and again get back to the 6 months presidential term as a European Council leader of Hungary. Our biggest achievement in that 6 months period of time was the Budapest Declaration, which was the first declaration after the European parliamentary elections and the establishment of the new institutional leadership in Brussels, when all the member states agreed to give a mandate to the institutional leaders that in the upcoming 5 years term, they should focus on restoring European competitiveness. This was the takeaway of the Budapest Declaration, that guys, according to the Letta report, Draghi report, we are in serious trouble and we have to change that course. And for this reason, your job is to focus on restoring European competitiveness. And what happened since then, and what is happening since Trump was elected and the American position changed in Europe, no one is anymore talking about competitiveness. Everybody is talking about the rearmament of Europe, but through Ukraine. And as it was described by the professor, the war machine and the war propaganda is very visible, because the political elite of Brussels, they desperately want to convince the European people that they are under an existential threat and they have to accept that their living standards are going down because they have to finance Ukraine. And they use this as a further argument to, again, push the centralization of power towards Brussels. Because if you are in a war and if you have an existential threat, then, okay, this kind of sovereignty or subsidiarity, these issues are not important anymore. Then you have a centralized, then you need a centralized superstate, which is preparing for a war which is inevitable. This is the argumentation. And we Hungarians, we are saying it for like 10 years, that Europeans should be able to defend themselves. NATO is very important. But if you are not able to defend ourselves, then we are relying on the American position. This is exactly what happened after 2022. First, the Germans and the French, they didn't want to follow the American line. They were resisting a little bit, but then the reality was very hard. The Biden administration was saying, this is our proxy war now against Russia, and we all have to be united. And sooner or later, all the European countries, the only exception was Hungary back at that time, saying, okay, we are in line with your position. And Europe couldn't make an independent foreign policy or a trade policy. So this is why European NATO is very important, but European independent military capability is also very important. But it doesn't mean that we have to prepare an existential conflict against the Russians, and by doing this, we are integrating into our security structure a country which has direct war right now with Russia. So European security is not going through Ukraine, it's going through ourselves. And this is the conflict what we have now. And this is why I'm very much worried, because what's going on in Brussels, and it's not just happening, it's a strategy, and they decided that it's very irresponsible.